Hello, I'm Rob from Cinematic Venom. Now what do you get when you take the sibling of an Academy Award nominated child prodigy star and put them in an awful TV movie with a serious message but hilarious delivery, forced unrealistic dialogue and a plot so unintentionally hilarious you can't decide if it's a serious drama or a parody film? Cyberbully! This is a film that was actually taken quite seriously when it was first released. Given its subject matter, if you disliked it, you were slammed for being a bully sympathizer, and despite its absurd, ridiculous plot points and dialogue, you had to like it or otherwise you were a douchebag. It wasn't until YMS ripped it apart, in a great video by the way, watch it after this, that people began to be more open to how pathetically absurd this really is. I was bullied since I was little, so the relatability, sensitivity and sympathy is already there for me, so you can throw those arguments completely up your ass.
Fine.
The message is there, but it's forced in with no subtlety and no redeemable realism whatsoever, making the overall delivery just plain hilarious. It's a shame too, because the whole look and cinematography of the picture is actually really good, and there's a bunch of decent talents in front of the camera too. So this is Taylor, played by Emily Osment, the younger sister of tremendous iconic Sixth Sense star himself, Haley Joel Osment. But you may know her more as that bitch from Hannah Montana.
Whoa, now you're spying on me?
So as the most late 90s and early 2000s soundtrack of all time plays, it's 2011.
What's going on?
We see her best friend, Samantha, played by Kay Panabaker, and Cheyenne, played by Megan Rath. We also see her mother, played by Kelly Rowan. They got Kelly Rowan.
I'm so sorry.
Anyway, I shit you not, this takes place at the 1 minute mark.
Well, what you do online isn't exactly private.
Subtle. Everything is forced. Everything! It's Taylor's birthday and they mention it every chance they get.
It's your birthday.
2017 doesn't mean anything. Can't hit me on my birthday!
Happy birthday, Taylor.
Her teacher even wishes her a happy birthday. What the hell kind of teacher does that? Another plot point is that her parents have divorced. But in case you forget...
If your dad had moved out 3 months ago, it was your dad that left you guys.
Do you know if your father called Taylor today?
Dad's in California. You talked to him? Dad would have never let you ground me.
Your father called? My dad cheated on my mom. Hey, Dad, it's me.
And your dad might call?
So did her parents split up? Because I think I might have missed it.
That's a good thing.
And the thing is, her dad adds absolutely nothing to this film. For all the acknowledgement of him and the divorce, it adds nothing to the plot whatsoever. If they adapted onto it and maybe showed they only added onto her failure at connecting with guys, it could work, but it's never utilised or touched upon in this way at all. Furthermore, why the f does she need his help anyway? Bitch, your mum has been raising you single-handedly and it's revealed her dad cheated on her and ran off with another woman. You're moping over him when your mum has been raising you on her own. She even says at one point,
You've been so nice to me. I never used to think you were nice.
this girl is a bitch.
Are you feeling okay?
So the girls go to school and we quickly learn, because no subtlety exists in this world, that Taylor has a thing for a decent looking dude called Scott, played by John McLaren. So Taylor gets home from school and for her birthday... Oh, is it her birthday? Well, they kept that quiet. She gets a laptop and is rather excited about it.
My own computer? Lucky.
But I guess she is lucky because she has an Xbox laptop. Well, I gotta get myself one of those.
Why?
So apparently everyone at the school uses some social networking site called Clicksters, which sounds like the fanbase of that Adam Sandler film. Well, hello fellow Clicksters, what's up, bruh?
Okay, you're now officially pathetic.
Taylor finally signs up. They have to answer a questionnaire as they register, but what kind of site asks about the colour of their underwear? How is this site still active? Like the school board know this site exists and it's asking minors about their underwear.
Sorry, bad question.
Anyway, we get this weird scene of Sam feeling neglected and cut off from her family and it goes nowhere. It literally goes nowhere. At no point in this 90-minute film does this sequence ever lead to anything. We only see Samantha's family twice more after this, only briefly, and it connects to this in no way whatsoever. It's entirely pointless.
I don't get it.
So the school bully, Lindsay, played by Nastasia Markovich, posts a rather unflattering remark on one of their pictures and Sam calls up Taylor about it. Who the hell does that?
Hello?
Yeah, my ex liked one of my Facebook pictures.
Like I give a
So to their credit, they do react the exact same way anyone in real life would react, and it's quite charming and amusing, so I'll give them that.
I don't even know which one I'm supposed to be, Lardo or Dogface. I guess I'll be Dogface. Well, what if I want to be Dogface? Well, fine, then I'm Lardo. Could always lose a little bit of weight. You, however, will always look like a dog. Ruff.
The next day at school,
I don't know, I like history.
Oh, me too.
Oh.
It's my favorite.
Caleb's kind of a weird dude, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
nice way to start your anti-bullying movie. Good job.
So I saw you're on Clicksters now. I like it better than Facebook, a lot more raw, you know?
Yeah, I noticed.
Well, that, and we couldn't afford the rights to Facebook. So Sam starts to get rather concerned about Taylor's sudden growing obsession with the internet.
I'm sorry, but waiting for a guy to type, "Hey baby, send me a bikini shot," is not love. Well, then what is? Sleeping with a guy the second time you guys go out and then wondering why he never talks to you again?
Gee, I wonder why she's bullied. She's such a wonderful person.
Scott talked to me for like half an hour. He sent me 13 messages.
Wow.
Is that a long time? I mean, even when I was 17, me and my ex spoke on the phone for like an hour and we sent a lot more than 13. And we sent naked pictures.
It's really gross stuff.
However, it doesn't take long before Taylor soon discovers the dark side of the internet when tragedy strikes.
What is it?
Look, somebody figured out my password and they hacked my profile.
No, they didn't. They typed in your password. If I leave my Facebook open and somebody walks in, sees it, and then types a status, they didn't hack my Facebook. But the tragedy goes further when we see what horrifying post they decided to put on her page.
I'm a naughty bad girl. Someone should spank me. Well, someone has a sick sense of humor. You got to change this. You got to change your password. No one should look at this.
That's this movie's idea of a sick joke. Somebody spanked me. If I put that on my girlfriend's Facebook, people would just see that and be like, oh, Rob posted it. There's no logic in it, and Taylor's crying her eyes out over this. Well, the logical thing right now would be to just delete it. I mean, there's a massive X right next to it. Gee, I wonder what that does.
Oh, it's too late.
Block them, maybe?
Yeah, that's gonna be a big help.
In fact, for a social networking site that actually shows her receiving friend invites, how can anyone view her wall? What purpose are friend invites when the wall is apparently completely public for anyone to post anything on it? Shockingly, her mum tries to convince Taylor to just remove her profile, but for some reason she doesn't want to. Why? It's not like she's getting anything out of this. What is she enjoying? Messaging Scott? Just text him, you ditzy cow.
Do you really think that's a good idea?
But oh no, she's gonna hit Lindsay back with a very genius, well thought out intellectual rebuttal. Very creative. So it turns out that her brother Eric, played by Robert Naylor, aka DW from Arthur, that's cool, I guess, was actually the one who posted the status. Why did he do it? It's never explained. Not once. But guess what? Even if you could buy this as normal younger brother behavior, what's the big deal? The post wasn't even that offensive!
How would you know?
So naturally, Taylor begins to get bullied at school, and just watch how the movie tries to portray its purely innocent and extremely likable victim and heroine.
You've been called a slut and a whore. Really?
I guess you've never been on my page. There's fairy, fruit, homo, too gay to live.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not really the same thing. I mean, you really are gay. What they're saying about me isn't true.
I hope this character dies.
Thanks.
You with a massive flaming dildo, you whore! Are you kidding me? I know that when you're bullied, you're in the mindset that nobody understands, but to completely condone bullying just because he's gay? You are a f***ing whore! I'd just like to clarify, Emily Osment is a tremendous actress. It's just a character I hate, and I hope she burns in f***ing hell!
Yeah, I know you care.
For some reason, Scott is angry at Taylor over this. It's not explained why, he just ignores her and is pissed off. Because she supposedly posted a saucy status? I mean, this is the guy who asked her for bikini pictures earlier, right?
I do think you need a few more pictures, or maybe a bikini shot or something.
Yeah, cool, just checking. We see more nasty comments, and you can tell the director has no clue about computers, considering the conversations are scrolling upwards instead of newer comments appearing below rather than above.
Nobody believes that stuff.
Sam is basically worried that Scott just wants to pork Taylor and is trying to protect her. But the thing is, he's shown absolutely no signs of this whatsoever. At this point of the film, the only dickish thing he's done is inexplicably ignore Taylor, but that's down to bad screenwriting because a few minutes later he's fine around her again with no explanation. Yeah, all is forgotten now apparently, what the f***? So why does Sam even think this? She claims he has a reputation of sleeping around, but this wouldn't be an issue for me if the entire movie's message is to not listen to people spreading rumors and slanders about you! Oh yeah, ignore the slander. Ignore what people say about you and it'll go alright. What's that? Oh, I heard Scott is a man slut. Stay away from him. But here, she gives a little bit more insight to him.
You want to know about Scott?
Charlie told him about some stuff he and I did. And you know what Scott did? He laughed.
Who the wrote this? Oh, just some chick who wrote a bunch of TV movies I've never heard of. They probably suck too. Like, all this build-up, all this drama to Scott doing something so dastardly and heinous, and...
He laughed.
Oh my god, he laughed! He laughed! What a bastard! That is the absolute worst thing a guy could ever do to you. He laughed.
Oh, you're so dramatic.
And you know what? This film is the epitome of a missed opportunity. Not only does it deliver the message of bullying poorly, but there's constant hints that Sam is bisexual or gay and has a crush on Taylor. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but it's all over the movie, and this would have been awesome if it was actually developed upon. If the film focused on her coming out of the closet and her being the bully victim while Taylor, her friend, protects her, that would have been a solid setup, but they never acknowledge it. Sam's actions throughout the whole movie, which we'll get onto later, show the perfect chance to do this, and it just never happens.
You're gonna get hurt, Taylor.
I mean, just because you got dumped doesn't mean I will.
I honestly have no idea what Taylor gets picked on. She has a heart of gold. She is a wonderful human being.
I didn't know that.
So her friends rush to her place after school to inform her on something on her wall. No, you're supposed to phone her up about this kind of thing.
What?
Anyway, I forgot to mention, during all of this crap, Taylor also started talking to a guy called James from another school who she really grew to like. But of course, she still flirts with Scott, the douchebag who ignored her for no reason. Accurate.
It is gonna get better, okay?
But now James starts telling people that they had sex and he got an STD, but what baffles me is how quickly people are commenting on this. I mean, do they just live on this site? I do really like Emily Osment actually, and her acting here is really great. See, at least now she actually has a reason to be upset. Earlier it was just stupid.
It's not right that they get away with it.
She bravely heads to school the next day where she gets insulted and... because Taylor gets insulted, Cheyenne gets offended, blames Taylor, and walks away, not wanting to be friends again. Okay, so Taylor's a bitch, Scott's a bitch, now Cheyenne's a bitch. I'm loving these characters, quite frankly.
Great.
Yeah, Scott stops talking to her again because of this. What is going on? Who the hell acts this way? And to fully solidify Cheyenne as a bitch, she even insults Taylor for flirting with James, which she encouraged in the first place!
So you think all this is my fault?
Yes. Yes, it is. Who added fuel to the fire? Taylor. Who overreacted and made the situation worse? Taylor. Who treated her friends and random fellow bully victims like Taylor! She deserves all of this! I will credit Osment's performance again here as she reads out Lindsay's comments though.
Oh look, Mom, you comment! I'm so popular! Now this one's from Lindsay Love. She's my favorite. Yeah, she says that James told her I took all my clothes off for $5.
And now is when you block them. No? Okay.
Okay, I'll think about it.
So we find out that Samantha was actually pretending to be James the entire time. And Samantha's a bitch too. What is wrong with these people? No one acts this way. What is wrong with this town? And why does she do this? I mean, they explain it later, but it's so vague and it doesn't make any sense. This is where she rings up her dad for help despite painting him as a prick for the entire film.
I just feel so alone right now.
Well, if you didn't treat everyone around you like complete
I know bullying over the internet is a problem. It's giving me a headache. I still can't figure out what to do about it.
How about you turn off the computer?
And this kind of bullying, well, it happens using anonymous usernames. You can't tell who's who and who started what.
Well, yes, you can. Look, the names aren't even anonymous. You can see their names. What are you on? And since the writer doesn't want Scott to be the only character who has drastic changes in his actions for no fathomable reason whatsoever, Sam goes from wanting Taylor to face her fears head on to wanting her to be a pussy and ditch school, and when she refuses and wants to talk to Scott still, she gets angry and storms off. Again, she has no reason to dislike Scott at this point. As an audience, we do, but he's done nothing for her to warrant disliking him whatsoever other than him stealing her lover.
What you need is a brain.
And as if this movie isn't already as asinine and unrealistic as possible, Scott decides he can't take Taylor to the school dance. Oh yeah, he asked her to the dance earlier. It was so important I forgot to tell you. And he can't take her because his mum is making him take somebody else.
Haven't you heard of suspension of disbelief?
Okay, maybe this was just a lie he made to get out of it, but was that really the best he could come up with?
You could have told us something else. I was at the bank. I was at the store. I ate bad guacamole and I couldn't stop shitting.
And just when her life can't possibly get any worse, she bumps into the bitch brigade who mentioned some online video about her. And why does Lindsay hate Taylor so much? A lot of people said no reason was given, but that's not true. A reason is given in the very first minute of running time. So what could have possibly happened in health on that day?
So what was it you said the other day in health that got Lindsay so pissed off? Nothing. I just said I think it's better to wait till you're 18 before you go all the way.
That's it. She told Lindsay that she shouldn't have sex before she hits 18. And the thing is, it's clarified later that she didn't even directly say this to Lindsay. So that takes away Lindsay's motivation. There isn't a reason. I'll take it back. She's literally making her life hell for no reason. Look, guys, she is a good-looking girl, so I'm not even buying the fact that the entire school picks on her. I'm not saying attractive people can't be bullied, but this isn't just Lindsay and her mates. This is the entire school. In real life, they'd be asking her out. They'd be asking her for nudes, not picking on her. Come the on!
It's really hard to see you in this much pain.
So she rushes home to watch the video that is somehow on her wall, despite, I assume, Lindsay not being on her friends list and she hasn't blocked her still for some reason. And it's a video of Lindsay dressed as a fat version of Taylor pretending to be a prostitute. What school did you go to? No, who acts this way?
And I've never been more sorry in my entire life.
Amazingly, this actually leads to the one and only good scene in the entire movie. I'm not even joking. This scene is actually almost entirely perfect. Almost. Taylor records a suicide goodbye video and it is done really well. It's believable, it's relatable, her acting is great. Sam sees it and her acting is just as tremendous. The music may be overdone a bit, but it suits it quite well. The editing is top notch. A lot of people criticized it because Taylor uploads the video and then procrastinates the attempt for ages. So, you've never attempted suicide. Those who suffered depression would know that the suicide attempt can often be a scream for attention and a scream for help. I don't mean to say people only do it for that, but sometimes it can be, and her stalling could be because she wants somebody to stop her and realize how hurt she is, or maybe she's just nervous about trying it. It's perfectly logical human behavior. Sam calls up Taylor's mum to warn her, and they both rush home to try to stop her in time. So the scene is great. I mean, it gives me goosebumps. It actually does make me tear up a lot. It's really well done. Until...
Taylor? I can't get the cat
on! Okay, when your main character has just attempted to overdose and kill herself, and your audience is laughing hysterically, you done f***ed up.
You can't take that stuff seriously.
Wow. Where do I begin? I mean... how can she not even get the cap off? She's 17 and she can't get past a child-friendly cap? It doesn't even make sense why they did this as a way for her to be stopped. Why not have her overdose and survive? You know, guys, that can happen.
And it's stupid for you to lose your head over something silly like this.
So after the funniest scene in movie history, and it involves an overdose, just let that sink in.
Did she tell you she was so depressed?
What the f***? You've seen her depressed for the entire movie? What the f*** is wrong with you? So Taylor's mum convinces her to go to a support group that helps other kids going through the same issues and have the exact same phobia of clicking a button that says block.
Such a hypocrite.
Taylor's mum is determined to find out who pretended to be James, despite Sam already making it blatantly obvious right to her face. Does she have to spell it out for you? Does she need neon lights above her head? Is everyone in this movie a moron?
Yes.
Because everyone at school makes fun of the suicide video, including Scott! No one acts this way! What happened when Amanda Todd killed herself? Everyone felt like when someone's bullied, obviously people don't realise the extent of it, so when they attempt to kill themselves, or when they successfully kill themselves, people are like, oh, better back off, I can't believe we've been doing this, oh, they don't be like, huh, you trying to kill yourself, huh, what a bella, no! This isn't how it works. This is how no human being functions. So her mum goes to confront Lindsay's dad about it, but guess what? He's a colossal douchebag as well, and he defends his daughter for making another child's life a living hell.
Excuse me? You're going to defend her?
Excuse me? You're going to act? So she calls up an attorney to try to get a law passed on cyberbullying, but it doesn't really go down too well.
Physical threat I could do something about.
They're calling her dirty and saying that she's sleeping with boys for money. Isn't that harassment?
Oh, if they said it to her face, yes.
But saying it to her face! How many times have we seen them say it to a mother face? How did you get a TV airing but I can't even get noticed on YouTube? But just wait, that's not even the beginning of the end of the awful dialogue.
In elementary school, it was like, hey, there goes Jelly Donut, you know, stuff like that, and it sucked, right?
Truly, some of the most brilliant, award-winning dialogue ever put to paper. That dialogue is obviously clearly written from a real bullied victim.
It sucked, right?
So the gay guy, Caleb, speaks out, and he is literally the only likable character in this entire film. The only one. He's genuine, he's real, he's believable. He opens up about the bullying and harassment for his sexuality, and it's very, very real.
I don't even know who that person is. How can he say he despises that I exist?
More important question though, you don't even know who this person is. How can you allow them to hurt your feelings?
You really want to?
So Taylor finally apologizes to him.
One good deed is not enough to redeem a man of a lifetime of wickedness.
Meanwhile, Sam confronts Scott and gives him a piece of her mind.
You must be feeling really happy with yourself. Is your ego all puffed up and feeling good?
Excuse me?
I'm Taylor's best friend.
I'm the only one allowed to make her life miserable. But for some reason now he cares about Taylor again. Okay. After literally making fun of her suicide attempt, it's hard to buy anything this jackass says. Anyway, Taylor and her mum finally have their moment, and this is where she acts surprised that a mother who's raised her single-handedly is being supportive. But who gives a who cares? Because now, Taylor delivers one of the worst pieces of dialogue ever. Ever. I'm not exaggerating. Ever. Worst dialogue you've ever heard, right? Are you ready for this? You take any piece of dialogue that you've heard that is an atrocity to cinema, write it down on a bit of paper, type it in the comments before you see this, and I guarantee this will probably surpass 90% of them. Are you ready? I don't think you are, but if you really think you're ready, play the clip.
I'm glad I'm not dead.
There's no words. There's no words! Samantha finally comes clean and tells Taylor that she pretended to be James, and this is Emily Osment's only bad acting in the entire movie.
I know you're lying. You wouldn't do that. I did.
I'm confused, you see, because my eyebrows are lowered.
Thank you.
So now Sam is the victim of the bullying, which she completely deserves, and she returns home to be comforted by her family. See how pointless the was earlier?
Samantha? What is it? What's going on?
I did something really bad, Mom.
I starred in Phil of the Future. It really sucked. But then we hear a shocking discovery.
What else?
Block them. You know, block the sender. You know, or the name you don't want to see what crap they're saying about you. Took me for damn ever to figure that out.
God, I never thought of that.
You never thought of that. I mean, it's established that Taylor has no idea about computers despite using one in the very first scene. But even if you can stretch your disbelief that far, why wouldn't her friends tell her about the imaginary block feature? Even the attorney knew in the next scene.
Print out everything?
Yes. You see something negative about you? Print it out. Save the evidence.
But they're anonymous, apparently.
Probably the most important thing. Anyone?
Speak up, man. Tell someone.
Your favorite teacher.
But she did! And nothing could be done about it!
Don't hide behind your fear. Do what it takes to stand up for yourself.
But you said that only adds fuel to the fire and that you should ignore them. This movie can't even follow its own message. So as I said, her mum visits an attorney to try to get this law passed.
But these kids are on the internet all the time, and they're vulnerable to these bullies who are hiding behind anonymous usernames.
Do you know what anonymous means? I don't think you do.
Yes, well, no one's making them go online now, are they?
This guy's talking sense. Someone make him the star.
Excuse me?
Well, they do have delete buttons on computers.
I thought that too until I almost lost my daughter.
And then you realised that they don't have delete buttons? But somehow, after everything he's done, Taylor still goes to see Scott! Jesus Christ, he made fun of your suicide attempt! What does he have to do? Rape you? In front of your family? As his friends join in? And record it? Put it out on Clicksters? No, you'd probably still give him another chance!
Are you sure that's what you want to do?
They decide to go to a news station, but even they initially pass her on the offer.
As far as your story goes, well, it's not news.
A teenager attempting suicide is not news.
You said your friend Samantha made a fake identity and posted things about you that weren't true?
Yeah.
So, that could be an interesting angle.
But Sam pretending to be a dude is, okay. So they want to get Sam in the interview too, and literally, I'm not joking, in just seconds, a matter of seconds, she agrees and heads over. Wish the movie was that quick. The interview takes place, and we finally get to the bottom of this whole debacle.
I had reasons that made sense at the time.
Really? Do tell.
I thought I was protecting her from a guy.
But he wasn't doing anything wrong! In fact, wait a minute, how was this protecting her in any way? At what point was this ever going to protect her? To stop her from being with supposedly this douchebag guy she pretended to be another douchebag guy? I don't get it! What, she pretended to be a nice guy and then she'd meet up and realise that he isn't real and then that will make her realise how much of a prick Scott is? What?
Lindsay and them, they're after you now? I didn't know that. Doesn't matter. I deserve it. No, you don't.
Yes. Yes, she does. She deserves all of it. So she returns to school more level-headed, ready to start the new chapter of her life. She rekindles a friendship with Sam and they set off together to confront Lindsay.
Oh, look, it's the Psycho Twins.
Really? That was the big climactic insult.
Just ignore her.
Yes, that would be the mature and intelligent thing to do. That's what this film has really taught us over the course of its running time. It's just simply
Hey, Lindsay.
ignore...
Hey, I know you think you're probably being funny, but you should know your words actually hurt.
Way to completely ignore your own message. This scene is awful. Like possibly the worst scene of the entire film. Well, besides...
I can't get a catwalk!
This is supposed to be the big revenge scene, the big comeuppance, and yet they have the worst insults, the worst confrontational remarks, another huge missed opportunity. This is just bad. Luckily, it is almost saved by...
Yeah, you seem to me just like any other bully, spreading hate wherever you go.
Yes, Caleb! You are the man!
I gotta say, the way that you guys need to hurt people, it's like maybe you need to talk to someone. Get some help.
Oh, piss off, Scott. No one likes you. So the rest of the cafeteria cheer, even though it was well established earlier that it wasn't just Lindsay and her mates picking on them, it was the entire school. Yay! The girls we've made miserable just stood up to the other girl that we were siding with. And despite all of this, somehow, someway, Taylor and Scott still get together! And apparently this means all the bullying is over, the law gets passed, and...
So the staff is already working on a proposal to make a new law that'll make it illegal to harass minors online in this state.
So it's okay to harass adults still?
It's fine.
This movie is trash. Pure garbage. I mean, they can't even get the title right for a start. This isn't even cyberbullying because most of it happens at the school in person as well. The goddamn title, and you even messed that up? As explained, if they focused on Sam being bisexual or even gay, it would have been a far more impactful film and more relatable for others. Who has ever had this kind of crap ever happen to them at all? The dialogue is awful, the plot is ridiculous, unrealistic, forced, unsubtle, and so phony. The characters are all horrible people except Caleb. He's the only one I feel sorry for. The cinematography I like, and they have one good line of dialogue.
I wish you wouldn't fake trust me. I wish you would just actually do it.
Really well written, actually. And the editing is good, but the soundtrack sounds like a girl's 2000 CD got jammed in a Walkman. The acting is great, especially from Osment and Panabaker, but it's just a dumb film that has a good message, but a botched delivery. Cyberbullying is as easy as clicking a block button. What's so difficult? They make more accounts, block those too. They're wasting more effort by making more accounts, so they'll give up eventually. The film does hit some parts well, like when Sam is trying to sound unfazed, but in reality she's crying her eyes out. And some did criticize the film, saying that nobody would ever try to kill themselves just because of some online words. But when you're that alone and you don't have anything, the internet is all you do have, so that can mean a lot more than you think. Trust me, I know from experience. The moral is there, so there was a cool idea underneath, but the people making it seem to have no idea how the internet or computers really work or how teenagers really act. You want to see a film about bullying? Stick to Carrie, because cyberbully needs to be blocked from my memory.
I think that went really well, don't you?